good morning for everybody who are here today. And today in this webinar, I will discuss about the challenges that we're getting as a Canadian seller selling in the US. So one of the, before I talk to Kerwin, Kerwin here is from Loop, and Kerwin is the one who's going to answer all the questions today regarding the banking that I'm personally using as a seller in the US. And one of the topics that I want to talk about is actually the issue with banking in the States, right? So one of them is, as I've said earlier, talking about the banking. What is the bank that I can connect when I open my Amazon.com account? So can I use my Canadian US, well, you can use US dollar account, or can I use my Canadian? Let's talk first about Canadian. So as an Amazon seller, I have set up a Canadian business account here in Canada because I sell in Canada. So I have a RBC Canadian business account. So can I use that actually to receive the payout in US? Okay, so the answer is actually yes. So you can use your Canadian business account connected to your Amazon account. There's no problem with that. They will still give you the payout. The only issue on that is that the conversion rate will affect you along the way. So what does it mean? So when Amazon send you a US dollar money, when they send it to your Canadian bank account, what happens is that they will convert it into Canadian because it's US to Canadian. So you will lose money because usually Amazon don't give the best exchange rate. That's the truth, right? So a lot of, like with me in the beginning when I was not making that much money, I did that and I receive it and it's pretty quick. But I know that I want to scale up, right? So what I did is I start to look into opening a US dollar account. So I'm going to talk about my experience with RBC because I bank with RBC, and you guys, for those who are watching here, you might have maybe an account with BMO, maybe account with TD, it doesn't matter. But all those regular banking actually have their own US dollar account, right? So what's the difference between these? Like opening a Canadian US dollar account into like opening a local US bank account. So I think I'm going to share with you, okay, like let me share with you my screen because I want to explain this in a way that you will understand it really well. Okay, so what happens when you open a US dollar account in Canada for Amazon.com? Okay, so what happens is that when Amazon sends your payout in US dollar, they will actually, like not all, but you need to go ask your bank about this because some banks will actually convert that to Canadian first before converting it again to US dollar because it's a Canadian account. So basically, once you receive the money in USD, they will convert it first to Canadian, and then you will be charged with conversion rate. And then that Canadian money will gonna be converted again to USD, and then again you will get a conversion rate charges like again. So basically you're having two conversion rate, right? So those are the issues that a lot of Amazon sellers have. Like they're realizing, oh, I'm being charged two times, so I'm losing money on that. And I will tell you that actually it's a big difference, especially when you're starting to scale up and you're receiving money every month. So most sellers, when they realize this, they actually look for alternatives, right? So one of them, so before in the previous years, like Pioneer, Wise are the most popular ones that they have for using an alternative so that you can actually open a virtual US dollar account so that your money from USD in Amazon will go to a US dollar account, right? So that's the that's what a lot of Amazon sellers are doing. So USD to USD, so you don't get conversion. And then if you want, you can convert it to Canadian if you are like me. So for example, with me, I am specializing on selling Amazon products. So if you guys are interested in learning on how to sell Canadian products, shipping it to the border and bringing it to Amazon.com, I'm that person who specializes on that. I have I'm gonna plug already. I have a course for that I'm selling. So if you guys are interested, let me know and I can give you, for those who are watching today, a 50% off on that course. Okay, so basically, for example, for me, I buy my products here in Canada, so I will send my US dollar money to Canada, right? So I will send it to Canada because I need to buy Canadian products. So then I will get a conversion rate, right? But with Loop, with Kervin's company, so I want to share it again. So this is what I found out. That's why I stick with their company, because this is when I was looking at their company before. So this is the exchange rate. So for the $1,224, $52 that I actually received from Amazon payout, with RBC, they want to give me an exchange rate of 1,527.59. Okay, so but when I did it with Loop, their exchange rate is better. So they want to give me $1,570.41 with the same money, with a $42 difference. So for me as a seller, I usually get almost everyday payout, and usually in this amount. So if I will stick with my RBC, I will be losing $42 with every 1,200 times, let's say 20 times in a month. So that's a lot, that's like 800 something or $900, right? In difference, just because I'm not using their company. So that's the difference that I see. Like, that's the reason why I bring Kerwin here today, because I want you to have these options as well. Okay, so that's that. So what happens is that when you do that, like, so when you have a company that's actually in USD here in Canada, you get double rate. So now recently, Amazon have this new program. Okay, so the program is called Payment Service Provider Program, meaning before, all the Canadian Amazon seller or even international sellers can just open an account with Pioneer, whatever they want, and they will already get the USD. But recently they changed that policy, and now Amazon only allow companies that they are approved. So meaning, before, I know Wise are not allowed to do it. So a lot of Amazon sellers were cramming on how to get a new US dollar bank account. And with me, I never had that problem because I was with Loop that time. And the good thing with Loop is that their checking account is actually locally based in the US. So with me, like, their company doesn't need to get approved with Amazon because they're already locally, like, really they're locally, their local company is addressed in the US, right? So that's the beauty of their product. So I never really need to come, like, where am I gonna get a new company to send my payout? But a lot of people have this issue when they have this policy. So I know right now, I think Pioneer, I'm not sure with Wise. I think Wise now is allowed again, but those are the issues that, most sellers end up having, right? So what I did is that I don't need to do that. I stick with them. Okay, so that's one of the things that you need to be aware of, that you need to have a company. Actually, when you want to open a US dollar account, it needs to be approved by Amazon, not just any US dollar company, but it needs to be approved by Amazon. So how about the Canadian USD? So they are traditional banking, so I think it's okay with Amazon. It's only those virtual company that's not allowed. Okay, so with that, so that's one thing that's different. I think, like, I have a note here. for me, so that's one thing that's the issue when you're connecting a payout. So basically, exchange rate fluctuation is the main one, right? So another issue that I want to talk about is the US dollar, the credit card. Okay, so we talk about that the US dollar local bank account, like, yes, you can get it. So for example, I just want to talk about this a bit. So you might say, okay, Cheryl, like I'm banking with RBC. Okay, so I know that they can provide a US dollar business account as well. I'm just gonna use that. So I want to give you an insight because I look at this before too. Before doing with Loop, I actually tried to apply before they even have $150 if I will do a business account with RBC. They want me to pay $150 a month. But now when I check, actually they now have a $9, and I think TD have 5, I think BMO have 15 per month, but you need to pay per transaction. Meaning if you need to pay anything, or you need to move money, or to move your Canadian whatever, you need to pay $1 to $2 per fee. So basically every movement you're doing on that account, you need to pay extra. So that's also the good thing with Kerwin's company, because they don't charge anything at all. So that's why I love their company, because they never charge me anything for any transaction fees or even monthly fees. So that's the difference with that. So I know some Canadian sellers, what they also do is they say, okay, instead of that, I'm just gonna open a personal US dollar account in the States. They also do that, because I did that in the beginning as well. But what happened with me is that, like, for example, I'm talking about my experience with RBC. So when I was new, what I did is I also opened a personal US dollar account in order for me to receive my payout in the US. But I realized, so RBC knows now that this is something that most Amazon seller is doing. So I've heard from other sellers as well that they were called by RBC and saying that's not allowed. That if you are doing business, you need to open a business account instead of a personal account. But business account means very expensive fees. So most Amazon seller don't have that. So what are the options right now for Amazon sellers? Either A, they open a US account, like for example, in RBC, you need to go and open in Georgia in order for you to have a US dollar RBC account, either personal or business, it's up to you, but the fees are really expensive if you do the business, right? So number 2 is you also need to open a virtual business account, just like the Pioneer or just like the Wise, right? Those are the ones, but it needs to be approved by Amazon. So, or number 3, you can have a local bank account in the US. So the only issue with that is you need to have a US address. And there's few Canadian seller I know who managed to do that because they know somebody in the US who can open them, like they can use their address to open a local bank account. But that's a lot of work. Sometimes you even need to go there and you need to prove to them, to the local bank. So number 4 is like the one that I'm personally using is Kerwin's company, where I can just open here in Canada and I can input US address, right? And that's where the credit card also gonna come in, okay? So another challenge of doing business in US as a Canadian Amazon seller is actually your card gets canceled a lot of times when you're doing online arbitrage, okay? So what are the solutions for that? So for me, one thing that works for me is actually Kerwin's company's credit card. So I have a US dollar business credit card with RBC right now, but it's useless because each time I use it, they flag it that I'm buying overseas. I would call them, they say, hey, that was me. Can you put in your system that it was me? Can you please process it? And they will say, okay. And then after another few tries, they're gonna cancel it again and flag it again. And I got tired with it because for me, I'm a very busy businesswoman. Okay, I do a lot of things in my life. I have young kids, and to keep on calling every single week with RBC to tell them that please process is so annoying. That's the truth, right? So the one that works for me is the Get Loop credit card, because one of the best thing about their credit card is that you can actually input a local US address. So because their banking system is actually like local, so they don't treat it like an international. So basically what I do is I put my prep center address. So that's my main address in, that you can input also easily on their platform. With a traditional bank, they don't like that, right? So with them, you can input that, and then when they purchase the prep center, for example, when you're purchasing for the and shipping it to the prep center, it will match the billing address and the shipping address, so they won't flag it. So that's my secret to not getting canceled, right? So having said that, another one that I'm gonna talk about, like last one, okay, before we interview Kerwin, because I want to show you guys the solution for a lot of issue in selling in the US is wholesale payments from USD Canadian account, right? So with if you are doing wholesale, right? So the only issue you need to have is like, how do we pay the suppliers, right? So you can pay it with your US business account, but again, there's always going to be fees, right, that you need to pay for in order for you to do transaction. And with Kerwin, they don't charge anything at all in order for you to do all this transaction, right? So Kerwin, okay, so turn on your microphone and let's ask. So guys, so if you have questions for Kerwin, so I'm gonna ask him about their services, because I want to give you an idea on what do they offer. So, and it's for you to decide if you want to try their service, because I want to share this to my community, because that's the one that works for me. And I think it, like they're not known yet in like it's not like, because they're not traditional bank, most people don't know about them, and I think it's a good idea for me to share it with you guys in my community so that you can have options. Okay, so if you have questions along the way, Kerwin will discuss about their their services. If you have questions, just type it in the chat and I will ask him after that. Okay, so Kerwin, okay, can you tell us a bit about Loop? What is Loop, right?
Yeah, thank you again. Like, thank you, Cheryl. For anyone who just like joined like the webinar, like, hi, my name is Kerwin. I'm the head of engineering here at Loop. So, like, what we do at Loop is that we are we're a financial service provider built for to support Canadian businesses, and that includes Amazon sellers like you. So, like, yeah, that's why like I'm here, like to be able like to explain to you like our services and how we could help you grow your business. What we aim for is like we want it to be easier for you to manage your money in different currencies. So that's why we are talking about cross-border banking today. We want it to be faster for you to be able like to create like to be able to open a bank account, to open like a card, to get like a credit card, so that you can save time. So like that's what Cheryl mentioned about like she got annoyed of like doing a lot of wait time, and like you have to call again like the bank again like to be able to process your transaction. With Loop, we're actually going to improve that. We've improved that service like for you, and like and we're building like a platform that actually can help you save time. And finally, we want you, like, we understand like for businesses like you, saving money is really important, especially during these times. Like, saving money is very important for you, and like we actually help you save on cross-border fees, including like FX fees, where the bank might be able like to charge you up to 3% of FX fees, and like we want to eliminate that for you. So like yeah, that's what we do here at Loop. And like yeah, I'm very open, and I'm very excited to hear like the questions that you may have, like to be able like to support your business. So thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah. So okay. So what are the services you provide, Kerwin? Like, I know you provide so many services, which I personally am using. And what are they?
Yep. So like we have like four main like services like in our system. First is like let me talk about like the multi-currency credit corporate credit cards that we have. So for you like as an Amazon seller, you may be spending in different currencies and you may also be earning in different currencies. What our cards do is like it's multi-currency so that like if you spend in that currency, you can pay us back in USD, you can pay us back in that currency, so you don't have to incur like FX at all. So you don't have to convert your US dollars back to Canadian dollars to pay us back your spending in US dollars. So like there's like back and forth, and like yeah, like we can like help you in there. The second one is like we have like our multi-currency accounts, which includes the US bank account that Cheryl was like mentioning. And yeah, like our US bank account is domiciled in the US. So like that's why like it's like when you encounter those like problems where you can't connect your bank account anymore in the US because like they are virtual accounts. With our bank account, we're able like to partner with a with US like entity so that you as a Canadian business, you have like your business in here. You don't have to drive all the way to the US border, like to the border, cross like the US, like open a bank account there. And you can just like open like a bank account virtually here, like just like by typing and entering your details, and you can have your US bank account with us like instantly. And that will allow you to receive payouts from Amazon. And also you can use that bank account to be able like to send like any payments. Let's say if you have a supplier in the US, or if you have like any payees in the US that you want to send the money to, you can also use that. And like you're literally like removing all the FX fees that you are encountering like right now. Next, we have our global payment services, where it allows you to send like money to anyone in the world, like up to like over like 30 currencies. So like with our system, like you already store your money in our in our Loop accounts, and you would be able like to pay your suppliers anywhere in the world. Maybe you have a virtual assistant on the other side of the world, and you will be able like to pay those like virtual assistants. And finally, like with Loop, we also offer like capital products. So like if you need like any like PO financing, or if you need like a line of credit, we also like offer those services for you.
Wow. So you have formation which actually is needed by Amazon sellers. So let's dissect it, right?
Yeah.
So because so at least people will understand, right? So number one, so first thing first is the credit card, right? So I personally use their credit card because as I've said, it's the only one that works for me right now in the US, right? So one of the best thing is that, for example, if you are buying like doing online arbitrage, .com to US to US. So meaning you're buying in the US and then you're selling in the US. So the good thing with this is that when you receive your payout into their checking account, right? Then you can pay it USD. There's no more conversion to their US dollar account, right? And then that card. So one of the best I think best part of your card is that you can convert it in multiple. So it can, if you are buying in Canadian dollars, it will turn into Canadian dollars. Then if you are buying in, euro, it will turn into euro, and USD to USD. So basically, if you are doing .com to .com, there's no conversion at all, right? So basically, you're going to receive the payout, buy in USD, pay in USD. So nothing, you don't lose money on conversion rate. So that's one thing that I like about their credit card. And one of the things, like I know that with your credit cards, right? So you can actually create multiple credit cards in virtually and with like physical card, correct?
Yes, that's correct, like Cheryl. So like yeah, with Loop, like once you open an account with us, like you can create like multiple like virtual cards. So like you will have like a unique like credit card number, like those UVC, like those expiration dates. You can have multiple like credit cards that you can use like on your online purchases. And you can also have like a physical card where if like, for example, if you travel like to the US or you go back here to in Canada, you can also use that like for your business spending when you actually go to a physical store.
So
yeah.
One thing that I use them for is this. So if I, like, for example, I have a virtual assistant who shops for us, right? Like this one is in my automated business. Basically, this virtual assistant is the one who's buying everything for you .com to .com for us. So I give her this I open an account specifically for her so that I can track, because as you know, like one of the, I think, hard part of giving your credit card information to somebody is that they can just use it up, right? Like especially if you don't never met the person, but you need to trust. I know people, I know big sellers who would trust their credit card to their virtual assistant, and I do that on one of our assistants. So what I did is I opened one credit card into, like, for example, they give you a $10,000 credit limit, right? So you can open multiple credit cards as much as you want, but the credit will all be the same, like it's 10,000. So for example, with my virtual assistant, the only good thing about this is that I can track what her buying. So basically I can download the statement or entries on that specific credit card. Am I correct, Kerwin? So I can download,
Yes.
I can see exactly what she's buying, and then you can match that to the receipt, right? So if she is buying something off, then you will catch it right away. So if you don't have time to do that, maybe you have another virtual assistant who can just match that, so that you know that they're not charging anything extra on your credit card. So that is one of the best part of that. Another best part, I think, of your card that I see is that, for example, Target. So with us, Target doesn't like Amazon seller. That's the truth, right? So they cancel whenever they know already that you are an Amazon seller. They cancel you because they don't want it. So what I do is I will open. So once the credit card is canceled, because they know already this one is in the system, I would open another new credit card that I will give to my virtual assistant. It works. So far that works. So I don't know how long they're gonna keep up with it, but that's what I do. I just open another credit card, and then it will show already that, okay, this is a completely different person. So we will process the payment and we will process the order, right? So I don't know how long it will last, but that's how I've been doing it. For in terms of buying, like, advantage that I get from your credit card. So another advantage that I think I get from your credit card is the rewards points, which I love so much. So it was recently that you rolled out, like, I think, I don't know how long, but one good thing about their credit card is they give rewards points. So meaning, like, you can, with every, I think, with every dollar that I spend, I get 2 points. And just for you to have an idea, 200,000 points is equals to $100 gift card. Am I correct?
No, it's so like with every dollar spent that you have like with our card, that's you can like receive up to 2 points.
Up
And
to
like
2
for
points.
example, if you have like a 20,000, like if you have 20,000 points with us, like right now you can use that to redeem for $100 like gift card, and like popular vendors, like let's say like Amazon, Apple, Walmart, or Air Canada, for example. You can redeem like those as gift cards from those vendors.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I like about, so it's so you can actually double dip on this one, because I was
Yeah.
talking to Corbin about this because I want to know, because I have points from them as well. So what happens is that, so you know how when you do, like, to maximize our profit, so one of the ways we do is, for example, Rakuten, right? So Rakuten is one of the places that you can buy from a specific website that they offer, and they would say, okay, for example, recently they have Real Canadian Superstore have 15% in points, right? Like in rewards, so 15% cashback rewards, right? So you get that. But if you are using their credit card, you also get, again, extra points for just using their credit card. So it's like basically 2 reward points in one using, right? Like it's amazing for me, because, like, for example, with me, I'm like, I already have almost a good amount of points that I can use to travel, like rent a hotel, because I think they have like Expedia gift cards that you can use. So they have Amazon, I think you have Home Depot, anything you like. So basically they give you a gift card in exchange with your with using their credit cards via points. So that's one of the good things that I like about your credit card, is that. But for as an Amazon seller, I think the main advantage is that your card doesn't get canceled a lot, and you can actually buy .com to .com without, having conversion rate. So that's one thing that I like about your credit card. So let's talk about your checking account, right? So your checking
Sorry,
account, yes.
sorry, Cheryl. If I may add, like I just want to emphasize like one thing that you've mentioned as well. Like for
Mm-hmm.
our platform, you can actually add like team members. So like yeah, like with those like team members, you can assign like cards to those team members. So like you can easily manage it in the dashboard, and it's not just on the statement that you can see like the spending
Mm-hmm.
of that person, like of that person like in your team. You can also even like see it in our dashboard. So we are really trying to make it like easy for you to track all like the spending on your in your business. And then as well, like you've mentioned, like the U.S. bank account, that's actually very big. Like a U.S. address, like for the cards, that's actually really big because like in the U.S. you may have like checkout forms that can only accept like a U.S. address. Like our cards, you can just like go to our dashboard, add a US address, and then like when after you add the US address, you can start like making like purchases on those like checkout forms in the US that can only accept those like US address like with zip codes, not postal codes. So yeah, very
Wow.
like I hope like you can use that. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually in, like, I forgot about that. See, like, yeah, that's very important because especially
Yeah.
for us international buyer from the
Mhm.
US, that's one of the main
Mhm.
issue is that
Mhm.
when they're asking for US address and then we don't have that, right? And then they cancel it because we cannot provide a
Mhm.
regular US address. So that's one of the benefit, I guess, of your cards as well. Like, really good one.
Mhm.
So anything else you like, I forgot, like, because I for me, like, one of the best card I think I got so far. So um
Mhm.
okay, let's talk about the checking account, right? So with
Yeah.
your checking account,
Yeah.
so one of the biggest advantage you have is that I can easily connect it to Amazon and without me
Mhm.
having trouble that it's not going to be accepted, because even if it's a
Mhm.
virtual, right? So basically virtual, because I applied everything online, you don't have a traditional bank that you go to, like, to apply. Everything is done online with their company, but you are actually like have a partner in the US that it looks like it's a local banking. So that's one of the really good one that I think I see, because they don't flag it as a virtual payment system. So that's an advantage. And number two is like the fact that I can transfer, like, I never realized that I'm losing so much money with conversion just because,
Mhm.
like, of that, right? So you guys also have a really competitive exchange rate. Like, you're
Yeah.
better than RBC so far in my experience. And
Yeah.
at the same time, also, you don't charge any fees. So with
Mhm.
RBC, I pay $9 at least every month,
Mhm.
and then each transaction I need to pay for it. So basically, right now I don't even use any of their US dollar account now because I'm with you guys, right? So that's one
Mhm.
good thing. Okay, so another one, okay, global payment services. So one of the things, so for those of you watching here who have, like, for example, for private people who's doing private label, right, or getting supplier internationally, I think your company is really good because you can actually pay internet, like, for example, in China, right? You can pay
Mhm.
supplier in China through your
Mhm.
company, right? So same
Yes.
thing as those people who's doing wholesale in Canada and getting everything in the US, right? So it, like, everything that's in the US, like, if you want to pay them, you can actually use their company and you just add a payee, and then they verify it, and then you can automatically just transfer without any fee. Am I correct?
Yes. So like yeah, like now like even like we made it like even like simpler. Like there's no like manual verification for payee. Just add the payee, and you can start sending like payments to the payee now. So like we've automated that process. And yeah, like it is like we don't like charge fees for payments sent to your payees like internationally.
Wow. So actually, with me, I use yours personally also with my shopper. So I have a shopper in the
Yeah.
US, and the way I'm paying her is that I send her to her bank account by just adding her as a pay as one of
Yeah.
my pay, and then I pay her, like, for that, right? So those are
Yeah.
the really good advantage of that, because you don't get charged any movements you have, like, you don't need to be scared that you're going to be charged each
Mhm.
time you send money.
Mhm.
you mentioned, can I do this with my virtual assistant as well? So for example, my
Mm.
virtual assistant is in the Philippines. They just need to open a bank account and then I can send it directly to them.
Yes, yeah, like you can do that like with us like too. So like you just need to get like their banking information, and
Okay.
you just need to add the virtual assistant as a payee, and like we will be able like to send that money to your virtual assistant.
And
So like yeah, it's
no
not
payment, no extra payment.
no extra payments. Like it's the exact same like process that you have like right now, Cheryl.
Wow,
Like
because
yeah.
I'm paying. So to be honest, I'm so with me, I hired my VA
Yeah,
through directly, so I don't
yeah.
actually. I paid her through Remitly, like one of those
Mm,
Filipino like cross, like that you
yeah.
also see. Because with
Yeah.
if you are hiring a VA with Upwork or other company, you pay through them, right? But with me,
Mhm.
because I never hired through these agencies, I don't need to pay directly. I need to pay them directly, but I didn't know that. So from now on, I'm going to pay her extra because I think I'm being charged like maybe $10 or something like that per transaction with that, and their conversion rate is even lower, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's something that I learned today that I didn't know. So I'm gonna do that as well. So okay, so how let's talk about also line of credit. So this is something that you guys should know. So for all of you Amazon seller out there, so in the US, they have a lot of options for funding. Okay, so one of them is that Amazon would actually fund Amazon sellers. If they see that their account is doing well, they will lend them money. They would offer them like free loan payable in X amount and then X amount and X amount of months. So for us Canadian, we don't have that. Amazon Canada don't offer that to us. In Amazon.com, they also have something called payability. So payability is basically a company who would also lend money. So I think your service for this loan is similar to payability. So basically, what you do is you connect the account of Amazon sellers, right? So basically, you connect it to your system,
Mm,
and people might ask me, "Is it safe?" Yeah, they're. I know them, and they're
mm,
a legit company, and they just want to see how are you as a seller. So basically, with this one, you don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I
mm,
understand, you don't care about the credit score or like the business credit score or anything, as long as you don't file bankruptcy as as a person, then you will
mhm.
actually see how much you can lend them based on their performance as an Amazon seller. Correct?
Like yeah, like we have like multiple factors that affects like how much credit we can give to the company. But like
Mm-hmm.
one of like the major factors that can really increase like your limit with us, or like the credit that you can get from us, is like the performance on your sales in your e-commerce like platforms such as like such as your Amazon store. So if you have a really good score in your Amazon, if you have a good performance with your Amazon store, you can actually get like a credit limit with us, like, and you can even like get it as fast up to like 50,000 Canadian dollars if you just connect your Amazon store with us. So like if we see like the performance of like your sales is like going in an upward trajectory,
Mm-hmm.
like your credit limit will also like grow with us. And like if you also need like as Cheryl mentioned, we have like those capital products such as the line of credit. Like if you even like need more, even like more than like 50,000, like you can just like contact us, and like we can like help you like and like ask for more information about like your business, so that like we can like give you like a line of credit, or if you may need like PO, for example, like PO financing, we can also like support that.
Okay, so from what I
Yeah,
understand, so it's based
yeah,
basically on your sales. So the higher
yeah.
your sales is, the more money you can get for funding, right? So how much do you charge for like interest rate? Like, because many people might ask me like, oh, about this. So usually with, as compared to traditional bank, like what is your rate?
Yep. So like there are different like risk ratings depending on your on your business like history, and also with your sales, like with your sales in your Amazon like platform. But like for our like rate, like we are at like our range is around 1% to 2% like monthly. So yeah, that's the number
One
that
percent
you're
to two
looking for.
percent man. So
Yeah,
so
monthly.
basically it's almost like like credit card in a way, but I think I would see it in this way, right? So for example, if you are a person, I think it's not for everybody, but for those who are trying, like for example, with me when I started, right? We don't have capital or anything, and nobody would want to trust us because they're saying, oh, like you don't have enough credit history and stuff like that. So there's no way for us to trust you. That's traditional bank, right? So for those of you who can afford to get, for example, instead of doing this, you can get a loan with line of credit in your bank because you have a house or you have, then that's okay. Like you don't need this. But for those Amazon seller who really like wanna start making good money in Amazon but don't have any money to fund and cannot be approved in a traditional bank, I think Kerwin's company is an option because with them, like if like for example 1 to 2%, right? So with that money, so my analogy with that is this: like if you will use that money to make sure that you sell and make at least 30% ROI out of that every month, then it's worth it. It's like using other people's money to create a business for you. And that's what I did in the beginning of my Amazon selling business, right? Because I don't have money. You know, we're living paycheck to paycheck. Yes, we have some, some savings before, but it's more for the family. Like we don't want to touch it, but we want to start our business. And that's when I reach out to Loop, and because I've been doing very well already, they lend me money and I need to pay them, treat it like a loan, right? So the only issue I have with this is that you need to make sure that when you commit yourself to this kind of loan, make sure that you are disciplined enough to pay for it every single month, right? Because that's a big commitment. And make sure that you already know how to sell, you know how to do product research, so that those money will really go to buying products, not sitting there and you loan it, but then you don't know what to do and you're losing money instead of making money. So that's the only advice I would have for that. But with this loan, the only good thing with this as well is that you will have a flexibility to boost your business instantly, right? So so you can loan your money, like you can ask them for some funding and then pay them. For example, it depends on how much you want to, like how long. Is there any limit? Like for example, they need to pay it back in a year or something like that?
No, because like for the line of credit, it's kind of like revolving. It's not like a term loan where you have like a set like fixed date that you have to pay for it. Like like the line of credit will, like we have like a monthly like payment scheme until like you will be able like to pay it at a certain point. But like like you can, it's revolving. So like if you pay us like that, like you can even like reuse like that like credit. Like you can use that credit again like for any other like payments. But like
I see.
it can go. It doesn't have like an end date.
So for example, if you have a $50,000 a line of credit and then they use it up all $50,000 in a month, and then you pay it back also by, I think how many, like 55 days that you can use that line of that, and then if you pay 50, like for example half of it, you will just get charged for 25,000 in interest rate. Is that how it works?
No, like it's different. So like we have like our credit card products, which is different. Like with credit card products, like you can actually spend it, and that's like you can like spend it like, and it's 55 days interest free. With our line of credit, it's also like a different product, and like that line of credit has also like different like timings for it, different cycles, and like with that you can also like spend, and like it's also like revolving. So and like there are different like interest rates for the different products.
Okay, got it. So basically, like the one that you can use for free is the credit card. So with credit cards, if you use it up to 55 days, that you can use their credit card without any interest if you pay it off within that day.
Yeah.
And what if, like, let's go back to the credit card, because since we talk about this, so what if you decide, okay, I don't have much money to pay this month, unfortunately, I cannot pay full with the 55. Do you get charged for that? Like if yes, like how much percentage will they get charged if they don't pay the full?
Yeah, so like for our credit cards, like if you don't pay us like in full, like we also have like a minimum payment, like which is 6% like in Canadian
Mm-hmm.
dollars for your balance. So like if
Mm-hmm.
you don't pay us in full, we do charge like interest, and like our interest rate right now is at 24% APR.
24%. So it's better. So for me, I always
Yeah,
pay every month.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I never knew the interest, but that's a good I think good. So I know with Amex, so for example, Amex also have a charge card, right? So with them,
Mm,
the same thing as you guys, like you're allowed to use up to 55. But if you don't
mm,
pay, I think they lower your amount of, like,
no.
basically now they will limit you. Like before, I think
Mm-hmm,
with them, they don't, you can use it unlimited, but then once
mm-hmm,
they see that you cannot pay for everything, they would start limiting your number. I think that's how it
mm-hmm,
works with Amex. So but with you guys, you have a certain amount that you have, and then
mm-hmm.
if you don't pay, you just need to pay the interest rate on that one, right? So but
Yeah,
I would suggest to try to pay it so you don't need to pay for interest rate, and I think that's a good way to do it. So so that's good. So any other information you want for the, you can add for a line of credit, like if they're doing the loan that we I
like
didn't
so if
discuss.
Yeah, so like yeah, like I think like if you want like to get like any line of credit or for PO financing, like we do ask like for more details. So like we do ask you to connect like your CRA like business account like with us so that we can see your financial statements. But like that's like process afterwards after you apply for a Loop account. Like that's an additional process. Like for you to open a Loop account, you don't need all of these information. What you just like need is like we need the name of your business, we need your name, the name of your director, and any shareholder that has like a 25% ownership or more. And you need also like a phone number, and just submitting all of those details. We compare it with the details that we pull like from different like organizations here in Canada to be able like to match like the details that you've submitted with the business details that we pulled from other like entities. And then if
Mm-hmm.
everything is matching, then you can get like an approved account like with us. So like yeah, like what is important, like I would say like for us is like just like apply for a Loop account, get approved, start using like our products, maybe start with our multi-currency accounts. Then we can give you like credit, like where you like connect your sales channel. And then like after like we build that, like then we can probably talk about like getting more capital product. I like use our capital products where you can get like a line of credit or a larger credit with us. Yep.
Okay, so I know that your credit
Yeah.
card and other
Yeah.
checking account, you don't have fees at all. But how
Yeah.
about this line of credit? Do you have do they need to pay fees for processing the loan or like acquiring this loan?
Yeah, we do charge like a little bit of like a small fee, just like having like access to that like capital. So like yeah, we have like a monthly fee tied to any tied to our line of credit. So like and that's also like that fee is being charged if you are also like going to use like that product. So like yeah, like it really depends like on like this setup, because like capital product is a very different setup compared to the other products that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And like yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
it's also like really depending on the performance or like the financial standing of like your company. So like yeah, like with Cheryl, like I think like yeah, like we were able like, to provide you like a line of credit like early. It's one of our first like products, and you were one of our first
Yes.
customers. Yeah, so like I like yeah, like we have a very long like relationship with that one, and
Yeah.
having
So
like a line
what
of
if,
credit with it.
yeah, so what if I have
Yeah,
like a low credit score, right? Like for example,
yeah.
like some Amazon sellers here might not have
Mm.
a really good credit score. Like will they still be okay to try to apply for a loan, or like, so what are the, like, what are the requirements basically? Like what do you look for?
Yeah, so like we have like different like as I've mentioned, we have different there are different factors that can affect like if we're going to provide credit for you. That's like including like yeah like your business score, your sales in your sales channel, and all like we have like different factors like in that. But like what I would do though, if you have like a low credit score, I won't like stop applying for a Loop account, because like it's not only loans that you can, it's not only our loan products that you can apply to. We have all of those other services, such as like the US multi-currency accounts, or you can have a domiciled US bank account. You also can have like a credit card with us. And like once we build that like confidence like together, and like we can grow together, we can give you like like the capital that you need like to be able like to sustain your business and like grow together. So like like it really depends. Like I don't have like an answer right now like for you, because like to if you can get like a loan, like it really depends on different factors
On
when you
the
start underwriting your account. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, but also this loan is not just for Amazon sellers, right? So if you guys
Yeah.
also have other businesses, like you have as long as it's e-commerce, like Shopify,
Yeah.
other,
WooCommerce. Yeah.
WooCommerce or something like that, you are also allowed to apply through them, right? So basically, you're really like focusing on e-commerce sellers, not just Amazon sellers, right?
Yeah.
But I think I just got in touch with you because I think you guys are the one who really have like everything I need as an Amazon seller. That's
Yeah.
why I really like end up being with you, right? So okay, so who do you provide these services? Like for example, a lot of my students are actually in sole proprietor. Can you do sole proprietor, partnership, corporation? So who do you offer this services?
Yeah, so like we offer it to any Canadian business, as long as you're a corporation, a partnership here in Canada, and sole proprietor here in Canada. As long as you're not in Quebec, though. For sole proprietors, we have like we can't like offer like a credit card or an account for sole proprietors in Quebec because like of some regulations. So yeah, like but like if you're a sole proprietor here in Ontario, you can open like a US bank account, like
So
an account like with us.
yeah, so I guess for those Canadian seller who decided to end up opening an business account in the US, even if they're Canadian, but their businesses is actually registered in the US, they cannot open an account here, right? Unless they have another business here. That's the only time that you can accommodate them, correct?
Yeah, like we can only open like for now, like we can open accounts for Canadian businesses.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So that's amazing. I think we cover a lot of the information. Okay. So my last question is that how long does it take to be approved for an account with Loop? Like, so if for example, so what I'm gonna do for everyone who's watching, like if you're interested, I'm gonna put the information in the free Facebook group later in order for you to apply. So they gave me a link that it's like a referral link, so it's an affiliate link. They give me a little bit of incentive for referring my community to them. So I will post it later. But so for them, so how long is the process if they're interested to apply? How long is the process? What do they need to do?
Yep. So like when you apply to a Loop account, like what I would suggest is like whatever is like written in your like when you registered your business, enter those exact same details when you go through our Loop account, because like we do match those information. And sometimes like if everything is okay, you can actually get like auto approved. We have automation like in place in our system like for it. But like for example, if there is some kind of like a mismatch, like with let's say like the name is a little bit like different, that may there it goes into our manual underwriting or manual verification process, and which may take like 1 to 3 business days just like to open a Loop account. But yeah, like we do like communicate with you if we need additional like information, we ask you for additional information. We may need to ask you to upload like a document to our platform, and then like we can verify your account.
Okay, so that's the most important part, right? So it needs if you want it to be approved right away, it needs to match like whatever is in your document, name of the company, name, address. What else do you get? Address. What else?
Yeah, like those are like the main details, like the address of like the business, the name of the business. Like those are a little bit, because like sometimes if you have a business here, you have a numbered company, and then like you don't enter it like exactly as is. Like it's a little bit like hard for us like to detect that, and like sometimes you just like enter like let's say the name of your website, which doesn't is not exactly the name of like what is like registered for a company. Like we can't like automatically verify that. But like if you enter like the details from the registry, like from the registries, like it's very like like easy. Like you get like
Okay.
approved almost immediately.
So that's good to know. So for those of like, I think I saw
Yeah.
something here like that they're trying to wait for it. So if there's something wrong, like for example, they've been waiting, they cannot get like they cannot get verified or anything like that. Do you have an email that they can email you guys in order for them to connect to follow up basically? Like if they need help, what is the email address that you have that you can ask
Yes.
them to email?
So like yeah, like if you do need any help like from us, you can just like type support@getloop.ca and we will be responding to you like within like 24 hours. So like yeah, like we have like a team like that receives those emails and like yeah, we'll get to you as soon as we can.
Wow, so that's good. Thank you so much. Okay, so
Yeah.
you answered most of my questions for your your services, and I think I present everything that you guys are offering. So now it's up for my community to decide if they wanna open an account with you. So let's go to Q&A before I say goodbye to you because I think some people
Mhm.
have a questions here, right? So if you guys have any questions with everything that we discussed, let me know and I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna ask Kerwin to answer it. Okay, so for Monique, so you need to be selling on Amazon for 6 months consecutively before you are able to sign up with GetLoop. I found this out recently. Is it true? Like you need to be at least 6 months in order for you to sign up?
Yeah, like you can still like be approved for an account because like we have like a different like process of like you approving as an account for your business so that you can open like like those multi-currency accounts with us. But like for example, like if you want like credit, we do have like certain like set rules like in place like so that like we can have like sufficient data to be able like to make like a decision if you want to give you credit to you. But like to just like open a loop account, you don't need to have like details for 6 months. It really depends. Like you can still like use our other products. And
Okay,
then like
so
once we get to that 6 month point, like we can like revisit it.
I see. So what you're saying, so just to be clear, is that you can like any new seller can actually apply to try to get the credit card, even if like a month of selling, it would be okay
Mm-hmm.
and can get the account and the checking account as well, but they cannot
Mm-hmm.
access the loan, right? So with the loan,
Yeah.
6 months. So I guess if they're ready, you just email them at support@getloop.ca and then you can
Mm-hmm.
ask them to manually review your account, see if you qualify for a loan already. Am I correct?
Yes, and like there's also like things like even though like we can provide you credit, we have like a configuration for our card where you can still like create that card and it's still works in a multi-currency way. You just have like to be able like to configure it in a way where like for example, if you're already earning in Amazon USD, like in USD from Amazon and receiving your payouts into our
Mm-hmm.
checking account, you can load those USD funds to our USD card, so you can still like use it. It doesn't mean like you can't use our card. There's
Oh,
just like
okay.
limitations, like and limitations on what you can do with that card, given like the certain like a scenario. But at some like let's say 6 months, you have like a really growing business, like then like we can revisit and like we can provide you with credit. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's
there
good
are
to
a lot of
know.
like things that you can do.
Okay, that's good. So Monique also asked, but what US address do you use? Any? So Monique, so yes, like they are very flexible. That's one good thing
Yeah.
about their company is that they don't care too much because what they do is they verify you in the beginning. They want to see that the
Mhm.
address you have with your business matching the Canadian address, and then the rest, like with your credit card, whatever you're inputting there, when you are trying to buy, it doesn't matter anymore. It's just for the card. Am I correct? Like with that as well? Like
Yeah. So
basically they
like
can input any like for example the prep center address or their cousin's address, wherever whatever they want address, they can put it in the credit card. Am I correct?
yeah, so like in our dashboard, like you can just click on the card and then like yeah, like you can like enter like add a US address and yeah, like it's a free form and you can enter like a US address based on like for example like yeah like from your prep center for example, like you can enter that one and
Is
use
there
that
a
like as your
chance
US
that you
address.
can show us, like I don't know if you have a dummy account that you can show us like just how it works? Is it possible
um
or not really? Like I'm
I
not
I
sure.
we I can share like we do have like a blog post for it. Let me do that because like we have already screenshots we have like a blog an article like created for it. So like maybe like I can
Okay.
just share my screen. Hold on, let me just like figure that out. Like let me
Okay, so
find
figure
out
it
what
out, and then I'm gonna read some of the questions.
yeah,
Okay, so do you
yeah.
have a hard credit check? So that's another question. I've been trying to get my account verified with Loop, and it's been about a week, and I haven't heard it back. Like so with Marlon, they're trying. So I think what you need to do, Marlon, is Marlon's call, like email them, support
Mhm.
getloop.ca to follow up and see, like tell them that you've been here and you're following up, you applied, and see what happens. Okay, so with Monique, let's answer the question first. So do you have a hard credit check? I think you answered this before, right? It still depends on, basically, on the performance of
Mhm.
your Amazon selling account, and then some few other things that you need to check in order for them. But overall, like, I think, as long, like, with me, with my personal experience with them, because I've been selling really well, they really approve me instantly. I even got
Mhm.
up to $75,000
Mhm.
credit with
Mhm.
them, because I'm a big seller already, right? So that's
Mhm.
how much they can provide me with a loan if I want to take it, right? So that's the thing. So with the new Amazon verification process, what address do you submit to Amazon? So I think with this one, so you're talking about, like, not with Loop, right? But basically, Olamide,
Mhm.
with the verification process, I think you need to make sure that everything matches. I know that, like, your information in your business needs to match everything that you submitted on Amazon. With the In terms of banking, because we're talking about banking, I think they just want to, like, for example, with me, with Loop, my payout is connected with Loop. My address in Loop is actually the address in the US, which is my prep center, but they never care about that the address doesn't match my business entity, because they only ask the verification for, like, the information of the bank, like, and then the name and I think the number, something like that, and that's about it. They never care about the address, that it's different, like the address that I put with Loop is different from the address of my business, because I use that. So is there any uh discount for applying with GetLoop? So you don't need a discount with this, because you apply, it's all for free. The only
Mhm.
thing that you need to pay, like, I think that you need to pay for, are the interest that you will get, but everything is free. That's one of the best part of their company, because I never get charged monthly fee. So how do I start the process to connect? I would like to start ASAP. So I will post in this free group. As soon as we're done, I will post the link to the link that they provide me, the affiliate link that they provide me, and you can apply through that. So
Mhm.
China's asking, if I already have everything set up with Canadian and US account, is it an easy process to switch and transfer my funds to Loop? Oh yeah, Gina, it's very, very easy, because with
Mhm.
me, I tried different banking as well. And all you need to do is, once you get the information from them, so once you set up, you get all the information, the checking account information, you stick it to Amazon, and that's it. It's a very easy process. And then in the beginning, I think the first payout might be a little bit longer, because Amazon would verify them. But as soon as
Mhm.
it's set up and you got the first paycheck, the
Mhm.
first payout, then it will gonna be, like, really quickly. Like, it takes me, like, I think, like, 24 hours for it to show in Loop. And then if I want to transfer it to my Canadian, it's also like 24 hours for it to
Mhm.
show. So basically what I do is, like, I will just convert. So basically you convert from USD, because it goes to USD, to Canadian, and then it goes to, so there's also a Canadian bank account in there, right? With Loop. And then from there, I transfer it to my RBC. That's how I do it, because for me, as I've said, I sell also in the US, and I sell mostly Canadian products, right? So I need the funding in Canadian for me. But actually, with my business coaching company, I opened again with Loop, because I'm receiving everything in USD, and I'm losing a lot of money in conversion, because my payment system, they're converting everything in Canadian, and I'm losing a lot of money with that. So I also use their company, and it's very easy process, like, and they're really good with communicating with you as well, right? So okay, so let's share what you have here. Let me just open it, and I want to
Yep.
share this with you guys. Okay, let me just open this. So before we end, just for you to show you how easy it is, right? Okay, so in here, I'm gonna share my screen with you. So basically, so this is what you get when you apply for credit card. So their credit card can be virtual, or you can also request for a physical card. So for example, you are doing RA here, and then you need their credit card because this is the only one that you're using. You can ask them, and they will ship to your house the credit card. If you have, for example, with me, I also ship another physical credit card to my prep center because I want them to pay locally as well. So and my shopper, and that's what I did. So basically here you will get, so for example, this is their card. So all you need to do, I think, is add this, right? So supported address, you just click that, and then it will, you can add an address on that one, right? Add Canadian address, add US address, and then this is your main address. And then, so that's how easy it is. You just add that, and then you update
You
it.
answer the details.
Yeah, so you update everything. So for me, I put my prep center because it's easier, like based from my experience, if you put the address of the place where you're shipping it, they will most likely won't cancel it because it's the same address. So that's what we're doing. I put my prep center address in here. I added them as my main address, and then we shop in the US, Walmart, Walgreens, Target, anything like that, and then ship it to them, and no problem. So the only one that I have issue really is Target. So because Target is really like, I think they have a team that they input to, like, they just screen who are the Amazon sellers, right? They always cancel my buys on that particular site, but the rest, like, everything is good. So I hope, like, so thank you so much, Kerwin. I think, is there anything else that you wanna say before we finish this webinar?
For sure. Yeah, thank you very much, Cheryl. I appreciate you like inviting us like to this call. I know like you're very busy and like you took time like for us. So I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to all like your followers here, like to working with you. Like, yeah, like we are a Canadian fintech company. We're located here in Toronto, Canada, and we're hoping like, yeah, like we can work together and like we can hopefully we can grow together. Like you, your business, and us as a company. So like, yeah, I'm like really excited like to work with all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Kerwin. So thank you, tell Kato, thank you also for lending you to me, right? So thank you so much, guys, for listening. So I just want to share their company with you, simply because that's what I'm using, and it really helps in saving money for my own businesses. So I hope you can try them as well. So, and I hope that this webinar help you to decide what is the best for your business as well. Okay.